All right, welcome to Life on the Vine. My name is Matt. I am the worship minister here at Southeast, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. Have you ever felt like something is working against you? Whether it's a friend or maybe it's a neighbor that have sort of turned on you, or a boss or a coworker has suddenly decided that they're going to impede you instead of help you. Maybe you've especially felt this in your faith. Maybe you're trying to share your faith. You're trying to talk to Jesus about someone, or you're trying to talk to Jesus with someone, and it seems like something is just keeps going against you. This story from the Old Testament is for you today. So our text comes from Ezra, chapters 4 and 5. And what's happening in Ezra is the people of God in the south, which is the kingdom of Judea, Judah, has been shipped off to Babylon. And when the Persians take over Babylon, the king of Persia, named Cyrus, decides that it's time for God's people to go back and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. They're allowed to go there and flourish and be the people of God. And so this happens. And in chapter 4, they come up against some antagonistic behavior from some of their neighbors, where they basically write the king and say that these people are an insurrection prone people, that they are going to rebel. And if you look at the annals of history that's recorded, they have been a rebellious people, and they should not be allowed to continue to build their temple. And they send this off to King Artaxerxes, and he responds with a letter that says, okay, I hear you. I've looked at the information and see that, yes, they have been a rebellious people in the past, and so command them to stop building. And so they stop building. We pick up in chapter 5, where some prophets, Haggai and Zechariah, they start prophesying that the people need to start rebuilding the temple again. And after they had stopped and ceased because of the cease and desist order, they start rebuilding the temple again, and it stirs up this controversy yet again. And there's a new king, Darius, and Darius gets this letter that the people are rebuilding the temple, and that they shouldn't be. And Darius responds in chapter 6 with a decree that God's people should be allowed to build their temple, and that basically get off their backs, and if you do any injury to their building process, that you'll be financially responsible. And God comes through for them in this instance. And so the application here is this, that these people listened to the prophets. They listened to God rather than listening to man, rather than listening to the powers, because they knew that they had the truth. Because the fact is that Cyrus did declare that they should be able to build the temple. The law was on their side. It's these people, these antagonists, that sort of cause them to want to circumvent that and stop building the temple. So God's people had the truth on their side. And so we, in the same way, when we experience these impediments, when we experience this pushback, we need to move forward with Jesus. We need to move forward with the gospel, because just like they had the truth of King Cyrus's decree that said that they should be allowed to build on this site, we also have the truth of the gospel, and we know that God is on our side. So, when these people or things challenge our work and witness, we need to lean on God. We need to lean on His Word, the truth that is in there. And we need to live out that Word anyway. And if we look at the sermon series that we're doing right now in Acts, we can see that the early church was doing this. They were saying that, God has commanded us to speak, and we're going to speak, and we should listen to Him rather than you. And so they did go forward, and it did cost them, but in the end, the gospel was pushed forward. The gospel was moved forward. So if we're struggling with this sort of thing, we need to know that we have the truth of God behind us, and that we can trust and rely on Him instead of people telling us what to do. So we have some announcements this week. First of all, VBS Setup Day this Sunday, right after the service. The more people we can get in, the better. We'll do it till it's done, and hopefully it gets done quick. Many hands make light work, so let's get that going after service on Sunday. Then we've got VBS coming up this next week, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12. It is free. We'd love to have your kids come and experience the Word of God preached in a way that kids can understand and interact with it and have fun with it, and just have a great time. Finally, we've got our student ministry summer camp that is coming up July 17th to the 21st at Big Canyon Ranch. For those who have signed up already, your waivers are going to be due. And also the payment and registration for this camp is due by July 10th. So get that done, get your kids signed up, and we just pray that you have a great week, that as you go forward this week with your life, that you would take on the things that press up against you, that seem to slow down your progress in your faith or in your personal evangelism, and that you would seek to trust God in everything, trust the truth of the gospel, and just move forward with Jesus. Have a great week.